Even in 2026, RPGs with romance involved in it, it's still a fascinating topic for people who enjoy a little drama in their games alongside some stellar gameplay. And if you're like me who spent this Valentine's holiday on that Sigma grind, but still need a little bit of time to unwind after a day of solitude, don't worry my brothers in arms, I got you covered with some games that could melt even the coldest chiseled heart of my top G's out there. Now if you caught my last video on the hidden gems of 2025, you know your boy hasn't uploaded in quite some time. I've been hard at work on another project that has taken a load of time to prepare for the channel. But well, I'll spare you the details until maybe like the end of the video or something, for anyone who may be interested I guess. Look, we all love saving the world and slaying dragons and maxing out builds. You guys know I love my strategy RPGs as well, but sometimes you just want to fight a war and find love on the battlefield. So I decided to put together another list of the top 10 RPGs with romance and dating mechanics in them. Some of these are straight up strategy games, some are action RPGs, and some, well, let's just say are for true men of culture out there. We've got deep storytelling, amazing written characters, and some fun facts that you probably didn't even know about. And honestly, that's what truly matters in most of these games, and by what matters, I obviously mean 2D waifus and grinding out relationship stats in these games. What's up guys, Tactics here with another video for you. Let's not waste any more time and dive right in. Kicking things off at number 10, we have the R Tonalico and R Nosurge series. Now, this series is developed by Gus, the same studio that does the Atelier series, and was released across the PS2, 3, and the Vita. If you know Gus, then you know their music is going to be a banger, but this game takes it to a whole new level. The story is set in a sci-fi fantasy world where song is actual magic. You usually play as a knight protecting a Reivate, basically a songstress who can nuke enemies from orbit if you keep her safe long enough. But here's the kicker, and why it's on this list. The dating mechanic is incredibly intimate. To unlock new magic, you have to literally dive into the girl's subconscious mind. Of course, it's called the Cosmosphere. You're not just taking her out on a dinner date or whatever, you're walking through her psyche, resolving their trauma, and let's be real, navigating some of their weirdest fetishes. It's a metaphor for truly trying to understand someone, but let's just say the dialogue does get a bit spicy. And you can install crystals into their costumes to boost stats. Now I'm not going to explain the animations for that, I'll let you guys discover that for yourselves or speculate about that. But the lore of this game goes so deep that the developers actually created a fully functional language called the Hymnos just for the songs. They wrote grammar textbooks for them, and I gotta admit, that's some serious dedication to the craft. It's definitely a lot more than what we see nowadays from some of these studios. At number 9, we have the Record of the Agris War Marriage, which is developed by some of my favorite studios like Compound Heart. This game can be played on the PC or back on the PSP. Now, I've mentioned the Record series before. I've been dying for a new entry for like the longest time now. But Marriage is a spin-off that really doubles down on the romance. The premise is classic RPG stuff. You're the hero, you gotta kill the archdemon, all that good stuff. The problem is you don't have enough time in one lifetime to do it. So you have to fall in love, get married, and produce an heir. Basically a soul breed who will continue your quest. Unlike the main games that span across several generations, this one focuses on just 2, which makes the story feel a bit tighter. You've got the hero and, well, his son or offspring. But the reason it's titled Marriage is because of the honeymoon phase. You unlock unification scenes with your chosen waifu that can grant you ultimate attacks. It's pretty heavy on the fan service, so for all my goons out there, you know who you are. This one is for you guys. The combat is also pretty decent. It's a turn-based RPG where you basically take turns and use overlapping attacks ranges for massive combos. It's pretty grindy, but if you like maxing your kid's genetics to create the ultimate warrior, then this is the game for you. Coming in at number 8 is a classic. We've got Radiata Stories. Now in this game you play as Jack Russell, a rowdy teenager who joins the Knights of Radiata. The world is split between humans and fairy creatures, and eventually a war breaks out. Now the romance here isn't a dating sim where you can pick from like 10 girls. It's a focused, tragic love story between Jack and Ridley, a female knight who's way cooler than him and is, well, just quite the badass. Halfway through the game, you get a choice that changes everything. Side with the humans or you side with the non-humans. Choosing the non-human path is basically like choosing the simp path in the best way possible, I guess. You betray your own race just to save Ridley because she's caught up in this non-human destiny. It's dramatic, emotional, and well, it just hits pretty hard. The gameplay is an action RPG, but the coolest part is the recruitment system. There are 177 recruitable characters, and they all have real-time schedules, like they wake up, they go to their 9 to 5, and then, well, back to sleep, I guess. You have to follow them to figure out how to actually recruit them. Another fun thing about this game is that you can just press a button to kick pretty much any object in the game, like furniture, signs, hell, even other people. If you kick a person, well, it's gonna basically start a fight, and I spent too much time just kicking random villagers, so I mean, hey, don't judge me, okay? Now at number 7, we have ourselves a mouthful here, but it's also quite a masterpiece as well. We've got the Utawareru Mono series, specifically Mask of Deception and Mask of Truth, developed by Aqua Plus. This is a hybrid between a visual novel and a strategy RPG. If you don't like reading, well, you might want to skip this one. But trust me, the story is top tier, and it's set in a world with feudal Japanese aesthetics but with weird sci-fi post-apocalypse undertones. You play as Haku, a guy with no memories who gets rescued by a girl named Kuon. The romance here is a slow burn. You don't get romance options like a dating sim. Instead, you get a beautifully written canon relationship that revolves over 2 massive games. The bond between Haku and Kuon is honestly one of the best I've seen. It's funny, it's tragic, and the payoff in Mask of Truth had your boy kinda, well, shedding a few manly tears. I'm not gonna lie. I also believe that there is an anime series for this as well. I watched the original with Hakuro, and I think the girl's name was Elalu. I think they were like the main characters, and well, I just really loved that anime. The gameplay, however, is a grid-based tactics game, which you guys know is right up my alley. It has this action chain mechanic where you have to press a button in time with a shrinking ring to get critical hits. It keeps you engaged even during turn-based combat. And I also believe that the name like Utawareru Mono roughly translate out to be something like the one being song, which, you know, kind of makes sense because by the end of this game, well, you'll be singing its praises as well. At number 6, we have Stellar Glow for the Nintendo 3DS. I believe this game was developed by a studio called Image Pouch, and in fact, I believe that this game was that studio's like swan song. It was the last game they made before going bankrupt, unfortunately, and they poured pretty much their heart and soul into making it into a masterpiece. The story is about a world where song has been lost, and a witch of destruction is freezing everything in crystals. You play as Alto, a conductor who has to gather witches to sing songs to stop the apocalypse. The gameplay is your classic SRPG goodness. Think like Final Fantasy Tactics, but with some cute anime waifus. The romance mechanics uses a free time system, kinda like Persona in fact. You spend time with your party members to raise their affinity. Since you're a conductor and all, you have to tune the witches. This means diving into their hearts to clear out their emotional trauma so they can sing, well, better magic. If you max out a girl's affinity, you get a special scene before the final battle where you choose who you want to spend your life with. It's a really satisfying end to a very long story. And if this video is satisfying your desire for a little bit of romance in your life, whether that may be with a controller in your hand or a lady in your lap, then consider liking the video to keep, my channel alive long enough, at least to finish this project, I guess. And maybe even subscribe for more top 10s like this in the foreseeable future. That would make me a very happy man. Alright, enough of all that. Let's get back to the video. Number 5 is for the hardcore strategy fans out there. We've got Hoshigami Ruining Blue Earth Remix. Originally on the PS1, but the remix version is on the Nintendo DS. Now I'm gonna be real with you guys, this game is pretty brutal. The original PS1 version was considered one of the hardest strategy RPGs ever made at the time. The remix added an easy mode for all the scrubs out there. You play as Faz, a mercenary caught in a war. The romance here is also pretty high stakes, your main love interest being Ten, your childhood friend. But this isn't a happy-go-lucky dating sim. The game has branching paths, and depending on your choices, party members as well, including your love interest, they can permanently be sent to the Shadow Realm before you're even able to bend the knee and recite your vows to them. The combat uses a RAP or Ready Action Point system, where you attack multiple times a turn, but it delays your next turn. And you can knock enemies into your allies to play ping pong with them for massive damage. It's actually super satisfying when you pull this off. If you want a romance that you actually have to fight to keep alive, I would say this is definitely worth a try. At number 4, we have Infinite Undiscovery, developed by Tri-Ace and again published by Square Enix on the Xbox 360. You play as Capel, a flute player who gets mistaken for the legendary hero Sigmund because they look pretty much identical. He gets rescued by Aya, a freedom fighter who is actually in love with the real hero Sigmund. So you have this awkward dynamic where Capel falls for Aya, but she's looking at him and seeing the other guy. Basically like how you like this girl, but she's busy looking at Chad and, well, you're just a nerd. It's a bit of a tsundere situation that evolves into something really genuine as Capel steps up to become his own man. The gameplay was also ahead of its time with seamless real-time battles, no load screens when you draw your sword and go into combat. You also have a connect system where you link with party members to use their skills. The title itself, Infinite Undiscovery, is kind of weird when you think about it, but it refers to like the discovery mechanics, like blowing up a dam to flood enemies. They really wanted you to be able to interact with the environment in this game. It's a solid action RPG that got pretty much overshadowed by a lot of really great Square Enix titles back in the day.
You okay? You look awful. Want to rest?
Just leave me alone.
Aya!
Why am I so tired?
You've been through a lot. You need to rest.
All of this is your fault.
My fault?
Yes, I fell down, I had to crawl into a dark place, I touched a cockroach, everything! This whole mess, it's all your fault!
Oh man, she must have bumped her head too.
Starting off with our top 3, we have Magna Carta 2, developed by Softmax on the Xbox 360. First off, you gotta notice the art style. The character designs are by this guy, Taeon Kim, I think that's how you pronounce it. The same legend that I know that did the art for Stellar Blade, and also Blade and Soul. So yeah, the character models are pretty visually appealing, let's say. You play as Judo, an amnesiac boy who gets dragged into a civil war by Princess Zephy. The romance focuses on Judo and Zephy. It doesn't have this choose your girlfriend system, but it has a heart-to-heart mechanic. You sit down at save points and have these quiet, intimate conversations that deepen your bond. It makes the ending hit much harder. The combat is this mix of real-time and turn-based mechanics. You build up Kan or mana, but if you attack too much, you overheat and can't move. The trick is switching characters right before you overheat to chain attacks. Once you get the rhythm down, it flows like water. It's honestly one of the most underrated combat systems on the 360. At number 2, we have Rune Factory Guardians of Ozma, developed by one of my favorite studios, Marvelous, on the Switch and PC. Now you know that the Rune Factory games is basically like Harvest Moon but with swords, but this entry changes the vibe. This is actually the first mainline game to ditch the European fantasy look for a full-on Japanese or Eastern aesthetic. You play as an earth dancer, revitalizing the land of Ozma. The dating mechanic here is a core pillar of the gameplay. You've got like 12 plus eligible bachelors and bachelorettes, of course, to talk to them and give them gifts, take them on dates, and eventually propose to your favorite. You can get married and have kids, and the best part of it all is your family actually joins your party. There's nothing more wholesome than beating up a boss with your wife and kid. Ah yes, family bonding at its finest. The gameplay loop is pretty damn addictive, I'm not gonna lie. You farm crops to get buffs, you tame monsters, yes, you can do that as well, and you go into dungeons and find new materials to craft for equipment and for many other things as well. If you want a romance RPG that lasts for 100+ hours, this is without a doubt the game for you. And finally, coming in at number 1, my top pick for a romance RPG you might have missed, we got Tears to Tiara 2, Heir of the Overlord. Developed by Aqua Plus and published by Atlas on the PS3. First things first, despite the 2 in the title, you do not need to play the first game. It's a standalone story with a new cast of characters, so don't let that scare you off. The story follows Hamel, a guy working in a labor mine who hides his identity as the last heir of the royal family. He meets Tart, a goddess who claims he's the overlord. This game is a commitment, I'm not gonna lie. It's like 50% strategy RPG and 50% visual novel. There is a lot of reading, but the romance between Hamel and Tart is incredible. It's a mature, slow burn love story that feels earned. It's not just, I gave you 50 gifts, now you must love me. They grow together through war and rebellion. The gameplay is a solid tactical RPG. It has a rewind function very similar to Fire Emblem, so if you mess up a turn, you can just back it up and rewind to a better starting point for your, again, scrubs. It also has an element cycle that changes every turn, adding a nice layer of strategy. If you want a game with a deep story, great tactics gameplay, and a romance that actually means something, Tears to Tiara 2 is that hidden gem that you need to try for yourself. Alright, there you have it guys. That is my top 10 list of RPGs with romance or some dating mechanics in it for this year that you absolutely need to check out for yourself. I know, some of these are a bit older, but some have a lot of reading. I'm looking at you, Tears to Tiara. But I promise you, the payoff is worth it. It's rare to find games that balance good gameplay with a love story that doesn't feel tacked on. And also guys, I apologize for not uploading in such a long time. Like I said before, I've been extremely busy on a particular project that I'm trying to prepare for the channel. And I'm hoping that I can have it ready to go within a couple more weeks because it's a pretty big deal for me and it's going to bring quite a lot of changes to the channel. But But I promise those changes will mostly be sort of like add-ons to the channel rather than things that will replace what I've been doing so far. I don't really want to go into too much detail because it would just be me spilling all the juicy details, and you wouldn't have anything to really speculate about if you're interested at all, that is. But honestly, this is the only real hint that I can really give you guys. So before I reveal the hint to you, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if so, be sure to smash that like button for your boy and subscribe for more videos like this and more RPG related goodness in the foreseeable future. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and also, let's roll the clip.